What is up, guys? It is Kikizilla 101 here yet again, and today we're going to be kickstarting a little series I actually wanted to start a long time ago when I first started Paleo Reviews on the channel, which is called Kaiju-Reviews. It's my new kind of revised reviews that I'm doing, you know, not my old Godzilla stuff. But anyways, we're going to get back into that and actually kickstart that today with this Godzilla King of the Monsters NECA figure. If you guys want to see the haul video which I got this and a bunch of other figures, check it out. It's in the top right corner right now. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the actual box of this guy. So I really love the box. I'm going to actually pull the camera out a little bit further here. I'm not really super big into collecting boxes. I used to kind of be into it a long time ago, but I got myself out of it because I thought it was a little, like, ridiculous to collect the boxes. But this is a really cool box, and so I'm actually going to hold on to it because I really love this art of Godzilla here. Godzilla just looks awesome. And so yeah, there's this, and it's got a little flap that's held on by this Velcro here. This is where the actual figure would be held, is inside of here, and then it's got this nice art. It's one of the promo pictures of the actual figure there. Then on the side we have cool features of it, and then we have the synopsis of the movie there. If you want to read that, you can go ahead and pause the video right now. And on the back we have another promo pic of the actual figure, and then we have these poster promos from the movie for Mothra, Rodan, and Godzilla here, promoting that they have other figures in the work. Mothra is out right now. I really want to get her. I'm going to get her soon. Rodan is probably coming out this month or early next month, so him soon, and they're having another blue variant of this Godzilla here. And then on the bottom it just says NECA there, and it's just a little date signed by my good friend Cesar, who I actually visited in California and saw the movie with, so I had him sign the box, just kind of like a little cool piece of memorabilia. So and then the top of the box just has some other stuff on there. So yeah, that's the box. Really cool box, definitely holding on to that, very high quality. Now let's get this review on the road here by actually taking a look at the figure itself. And so this figure, I have to say right off the bat, I love it. If you guys have seen any of my older Godzilla reviews, you guys know that I love NECA. I think NECA makes some really awesome Godzilla figures. They've had many flaws, and a lot of those issues kind of return here with this guy. But I do want to start off by saying I really adore this figure, and for the price point, it really can't be beat. I mean, this is 23 bucks, $22.99 at stock price. If you're finding it for more than that, then don't get it, because it's so much cheaper in so many other areas. I mean, you can get it at Target for $22.99 and a lot of websites and stuff, and a lot of places are trying to sell them for more than they're worth. I mean, they might be worth more for you, but either way, you can get them for cheaper. So let's just start off by pointing out some of the things I love about it. The paint. I just freaking adore the paint. The way that they've done this dry brushing and the light gray looks fantastic. This wonderful dry brushing really helps bring out the detail on NECA's sculpt, and they've actually done a lot of revisiting to all of the parts on this sculpt and have really, you know, fixed up and added more detail into all of the different parts of the figure. Like all these little shapes you see there, like the little scales, those were not present. I don't believe those were present on the 2014 variant, which we will compare it to a little bit later in the review. And I know for sure that the face did not have this much detail on the 2014 variant. There's a lot more wrinkles and little scale details on the face of the figure, which is really nice that they went back and did that. So yeah, it's got some really lovely paint. I think the paint is a real strong suit of this figure. Of course, they've been many issues with the eyes and the lips and stuff, but that's things that you get with a lot of these Godzilla figures. I mean, even Bandai figures, especially SH Monster Arts, I mean, that they have the same thing. So it's kind of to be expected. I wish that NECA would really crack down and start, you know, doing much better on their quality control. I mean, they did much better on the 2014 variant in particular. So this one is a little bit of a step down in that department. But I see a lot of people kind of bagging on NECA for their quality control, and I'm sitting here like, guys, SH does the same thing and it costs like 5 times more, so let's stop like hating on NECA just for the quality control stuff. And if you really don't want to get a bad figure, then do what I did and go in person and find one that's good. That's what's really nice about that box, is it actually gives you a view window so you can actually see the figure you're purchasing. The biggest gripes I have with it are just a couple of the articulation pieces. The tail is amazing. Let's get that right off the bat. I mean, the posing on this thing is ridiculous. I mean, NECA you're owning it with this tail. SH doesn't even have as consistent of tail work as this thing does, so that's pretty impressive. However, this neck piece kind of bugs me. For one, it's like really tight. It's actually like overlapping. If you can see right there that the spine is actually sticking in past oh, and there's the other issue I was gonna get to, is that his head like just falling off. So at least for my individual one, they all have different kind of issues, but this one in particular, mine has its head just falling off. And then they all have this neck thing where you actually have to push it. I mean, thankfully it's like soft plastic, so you can kind of bend it out of the way, but it makes the articulation a real pain in the butt. And so I just tend to leave it and not mess around with it very much. So there's that. Let me just pop on his head real quick. And then my other issue with my version is that he's got this like really ripped up plastic. I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but right there, pay attention. You see that? That's the hinge. Like that's like the hinge, a swivel joint right there, just exposed, and all the plastic is all torn up. And this is how it's supposed to look on this arm. You see that? You can see the hinge swivel right there, but you see how like fine the plastic is. It's in the proper molded shape, but then here it's all torn up. Excuse my phone in the background. So I don't know what that is. Thankfully, like functionally, it completely works, but I don't know if it's going to have an effect in the long term of moving that hand, so I just haven't really been moving it very much. So that's pretty unfortunate. So yeah, there are those things that kind of annoy me. I did do the nail polish thing to tighten the joint on the head. I might have to do a couple more coats because this actually has gotten stuck in there. Like the little layer I added to this has actually gotten stuck in there and it popped off again. It did work for a couple days, but it's gone back to being broken now. So if anybody has a good fix for just this figure's head in particular, please comment down below. I really want to get this fixed. If not, I'm just gonna have to tear out that layer again and do some more layers in there, or maybe even have to just carve out the inside of this. And if nothing ends up working, I'm just gonna have to super glue the head back on here and hope that the actual joint in here is actually able to spin, and maybe I can still get some side rotation out of it. If not, his head is just gonna be locked in place, which is gonna be really sucky. But yeah, that's probably my biggest complaint, is just that those quality control issues, like with the joints popping out, are really annoying. And I know that a lot of other figures had them. NECA's had them before. I've had them with my 1984 Neca Godzilla, but still annoying to have to deal with those. Let's be honest. And so let's just start off our little like size comparison section here. By actually just getting in the 2014 version. I'll link the review of this figure up in the top right corner right now, but I did do a review of this guy, and I don't remember if I got this before I saw 2014 or just after I saw 2014, but I got it just around when I saw 2014, so it's kind of cool. I have this NECA figure as like a piece of memorabilia from actually seeing the movie, and he's still in really good shape. I mean, it's held up really well over the years, which is why I really love NECA, and this is probably my favorite NECA figure that I've had until I got this one. And I actually got this one just the day before I went to see King of the Monsters, and I saw both of them opening night, so that's pretty cool. So I get to have these two like right next to each other on my shelf, and they're both like from me seeing the movies in theaters, which is really cool. I thought that was kind of cool to point out. Anyways, let's get into the differences. So some of the differences, besides just updating the sculpt and like adding some more detail, and you know the dry brushing, which is clearly an improvement. I mean, look at how much more detail it comes out of the figure when you with that dry brushing on. So besides the colors, you got the sculpt change of the feet. Because this Godzilla actually does have more splayed out toes, and I love the feet. I think the feet look way cooler on this one. They're actually bigger, so they do lift him off the ground a little bit higher. The hands are actually different. I haven't seen many people point this out, but I've noticed it. The claws are less sharp, and they seem to be a little bit smoother and a little bit more bulky than the fingers that are on this one. I don't know if that was actually intended. You can also see that this finger like bends forward in a weird way, and these fingers almost look twisted. There's a little bit of a step down from the 2014's hands, if I have to be honest. Get the two heads right next to each other. The eyes are actually different. This one's eyes are longer. This one's more round, which is pretty cool. I have this all gold with a little black slit, and this is a white eye with a brown pupil, which is accurate to the movie and how they changed. This has like a more of like a maroony purple color inside the mouth, and this one has a nice light pink, and the teeth are a little bit better painted. But there's also just an increase in detail. There's there's a lot more creases and a lot more detail and scalation on this figure here than there is on this one. And there you go. You can see all the different scales on the 2019 version that are just absent from the 2014 one. This neck piece is actually longer. The spines have changed, and they changed the plating on the neck there, and it's much more large and exaggerated. I think they redid the gills entirely on this figure, and they added these like little fibrous textures on the gills, which is kind of cool, and that's absent from this variant. You can see how much they extended the neck, because the gills actually end here on this figure, but here the gills are actually ending underneath the headpiece. And then the biggest change, obviously, I think everybody notices this, is the spines. I always loved 2014 spines. I actually kind of liked the idea of the lower spines, but I have to be honest, the 2019 one totally won me over. I'm in love with these new spines. Now, these spines are a little too big. They're not exactly screen accurate. They are a little bit smaller in the film. I did do some side-by-side. If you don't believe me, you can do it for yourself, but they are a little bit too big. Not that I'm complaining. I love the way they look either way, but it would have been nice if they were a little bit more screen accurate, and the textures of the spines are just really great. The other big change, which is the tail. The 2014 tail is actually longer, it's more pointy, and this is the 2019's tail. Now in the movie, the 2019's tail does extend just a little bit longer, and it does get a little bit thinner towards the end. It's kind of like a middle ground between these two tails. So this one's a little bit too stubby, this one's a little too pointy, but they both look great, and I actually think I prefer this tail, which is actually pretty surprising, because another thing I really loved about the 2014 one is how pointy its tail was. I thought that was a really cool design change. So that's pretty much all of the design changes, and also, well, I mean, this is bendy wire. This whole piece from right here on the rest of the tail is bendy wire, and I've never bent that since I first got the figure. I've just put it into that position, and then I've left it that way ever since I got it, and that's probably why it's in such good condition still. But this tail obviously has a bunch of different joints, which is much better, and it holds its position great. I actually have gotten the 2019 figure to stand up taller than the 2014 one, at least when I was at my friend's house and with his, but they're pretty much around the same size. This one actually leans a little bit more forward. They're pretty much the same size, really. All right, let's just bring out a couple more quick size comparisons. We'll bring out the 1954 NECA figure, because this is quite a common and popular one, and they also share the same dorsal fins, or at least this one's styled after the 1954's dorsal fins. And the 1954 is taller, much taller, but they look pretty nice together, especially since they have strikingly similar spines there. Then we'll also bring out the Bandai Heisei Godzilla, my go-to size comparison for most things, because he's just a really common figure and a lot of people have him and he looks great. So he's just a little bit taller than this guy. The Jakks Pacific King Ghidorah. I just snagged this guy because I really wanted a King Ghidorah figure, and I wasn't set on buying the SH figure. I might actually get the SH figure now, just because NECA might not make a Ghidorah, but these guys look pretty good together. The heads are actually pretty much accurate with each other, I think. That's the big turnoff for me from the SH King Ghidorah, is that the heads are way too big on that figure, and it's not accurately sized to Godzilla, just like the heads and necks. The rest of the figure is accurate, but just the heads and the necks are not accurately sized. But yeah, these two look okay together. They look decent. They'll make a nice placeholder for now. If you guys do want me to review this one, let me know. I'm not really planning on reviewing it, but if enough people ask me, I might do it. We'll just bring down the 2015 Safari LTD Tyrannus for all my dinosaur viewers who may be interested in getting a Godzilla thing and want to know the size. And then we're just going to quickly get into some articulation, just cover it really quick. It's pretty basic. I mean, you got the waist, you got the head. That one, I'm not pushing hard enough to get it back in there right now, but it can move up and down and spin all the way around. And this one can go 360. Yet again, it's a pain in the butt to move because of that dorsal fins. Then you got the arms that can move in and out. I think they're on a ball joint. You got a hinge swivel at the elbow and the wrist. You got I think another ball joint of sorts at the, it's the same thing, it's the same articulation for the legs as the 2014 Godzilla, and then you got a hinge swivel at the knee, ball joint at the foot, and then all of these ball joints at the tail. And there's, I think I counted them before, and there's 26 points of articulation on this guy, including that the mouth can open and close. Really nice quality figure overall. For the price, really can't be beat. It's a great stand-in if you can't afford the SH Monster Art stuff, and in fact, a lot of people are kind of turned off by the SH Monster Arts Godzilla because of the weird neck, and it doesn't stand up quite right, and a lot of quality control issues with those ones as well, falling apart, so, and messed up eyes. Really, either way, you're taking a risk with quality control issues. SH Monster Arts is notorious for quality control issues. Neca has also been notorious for a lot of quality control issues with just a handful of exceptions. And so you're really taking a risk either way, but if you have less money that you're willing to risk, then I think this is your better option. And it really does a great job at of representing the Godzilla, so I would highly recommend getting it. I'm going to pass on the SH Monster Arts one. I probably will get the SH Monster Arts Ghidorah, and I'm going to get the NECA Mothra and Rodan, so those guys will all go together on my shelf. It's mostly the quality control issues that are a little annoying, and the fact that it doesn't really come with any accessories is a little annoying as well. But overall, I really adore this figure, so I'm going to give this guy an 8 out of 10 on my scale. I think it's a really great figure. You definitely should pick it up if you have the money for it and you're interested in getting a 2019 Godzilla. But yeah, I'd highly recommend, if you haven't seen the movie already, go out and see it. It's great. It's my new favorite Godzilla movie. There's a handful of things I have issues with it, but I do plan on reviewing that movie, so if you are looking forward to that, please let me know in the comment section below, and if whenever that video comes out, I'll link it in the top right corner right now. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.